So for example, this young boy, he's running and he's pulling this plane around him as he runs. So what distance did the plane travel? Did the plane travel around the boy? Is the plane's distance relative to the boy? So did the plane travel in a circle? No. The distance the plane traveled is when the boy ran from the bottom of the field to when the boy stopped, and the path of the plane would be in a loop. So the distance is not around the boy, but along the boy's path that the boy ran. Now let's look at speed. You see, this boy is running and he's flicking this plane around him. As the boy runs, the plane would have to fly faster as it flies in the direction that the boy is running in, and slower when the plane is behind him. Because if the speed is constant, the boy would actually run into the plane. So they'll tell you that the plane speed is relative to the boy. The boy would still run into the plane because the boy is moving. The plane speed cannot be constant because the boy would run into the plane. So they're applying it to the earth and they're saying, well, the boy is the earth, so a plane flying around the earth cannot travel at the same speed. And what was the distance that the plane traveled? Well, from when the plane took off from the earth, flew around the earth as the earth travels around the sun. And the distance would be when the plane lands. You see, they'll tell you that the distance and the speed is relative to the earth, but it's simply impossible because the earth is spinning around the sun. So how then does gravity, which is pulling the plane towards the earth downward, how does gravity force the plane along its flight path so that the plane continues to maintain its speed relative to the earth as the earth spins? Because the force isn't in front of the plane, but downward. How does gravity pull the plane when the plane's behind the earth, and then pull the plane in front of the earth? You see, because the earth would actually smash into the plane. So the speed and the distance the plane flew, doesn't work. It simply cannot work. Remember, the boy, when he's running, he's pulling the plane toward himself. So when the plane is in front of the boy and the boy is pulling the plane toward him, the boy will run into the plane. Now let's look at speed and distance of this balloon. So the hot air balloon takes off, right? So from the position regarding the earth, the hot air balloon is moving. So when we stand back and we look at the balloon's path around the earth, how is gravity pushing the balloon around the spin of the earth at 1,600 kilometers an hour? And at the same time, how is gravity pulling the balloon along the earth's path around the sun at over 500,000 kilometers? Because gravity is pulling the balloon towards the earth. And realize that it only works if the earth is stationary, and the only momentum that the balloon has is its position as it's flying over the earth. You see, they're trying to tell you that the people in this balloon will only feel the motion they have that is relative to the earth. And you realize that it's a con. This is simply impossible. We're being lied to. Gravity and relativity does not work. Let's take a helicopter. You see, this helicopter is flying. They'll tell you that the helicopter's position is relative to the earth. So if I move this earth around, the motion of the movement plus the helicopter's movement have to be added together. And I'll tell you now, the helicopter will only account for its motion relative to the Earth. It simply doesn't work. Let's take an aeroplane. So this aeroplane takes off, right? It's free from the Earth's gravity because it's flying. So if the Earth had to move upward, well, the Earth would smack into the aeroplane. And if the Earth dropped away from the plane, it would leave the plane behind. If the Earth moved left and right, its movement cannot be transferred to the aeroplane. How? Even from your own experience in an aeroplane, you feel the aeroplane taking off and you feel the aeroplane landing. That's the only motion that you feel when the plane takes off and lands. So they'll have you believe that the ground is traveling easterly at 1,600 kilometers an hour, and as the plane takes off, its position is perfectly maintained in a different direction that the plane is flying in. And you don't feel it. No stress is put on the airplane as the airplane turns westerly. The airplane doesn't have to fly harder, use more power. But the plane automatically now just flies magically in the opposite direction of the Earth's motion. And if we stand back, here's the airport. So the plane is taking off. So the airplane doesn't have to take into account the spin of the Earth or the Earth's motion as it moves around the sun. See, the plane only magically takes off and lands. That's all you feel. We don't feel the Earth's rotation or its movement around the sun. Whereas we can see that a plane flying westerly and a plane flying from south to north, both planes will experience different forces. And I'll tell you now, these planes just magically move along with the Earth as the Earth spins around the sun. Well, this is not real. This is magic. This is delusional. This is simply impossible. How can this be real? How on earth can people believe this is real? We've been lied to. So, the International Space Station and the Hubble telescope is free from gravity in outer space, yet will move along the Earth equal to the speed of the Earth and the spin of the Earth as the Earth travels around the sun, and gravity is pulling it towards, and the Earth won't smack into the space station or the Hubble telescope when they're on the position of the Earth's path around the sun. They'll also tell you that we don't feel the spin of the Earth because our motion is constant. Well, that's totally ridiculous, because your motion is in a circle and you're spinning at an angle of 23.4 degrees at an angle across the path of the spin. So therefore your speed cannot be constant. How can your speed be constant? It simply cannot. Your direction and the angle around the spin as the Earth spins around the sun is angled across the face or across the path that the Earth spins around the sun. Your speed cannot be constant. This is impossible. They'll also tell you that the full-cot pendulum measures the rotation of the Earth. Well, a full-cot pendulum how come this pendulum doesn't measure and doesn't reflect the angle of the Earth's spin as it changes angle from one side to the other side as it orbits the Sun, and doesn't measure the Earth's movement around the Sun. It only measures the Earth's spin and magically ignores the motion of the Earth as the Earth spins around the Sun. We see that this is a trick. And the Moon? You see, the Moon's phases are constant, but the Moon, its path is actually a loop. So the speed, when it's on the opposite side, cannot be the same speed on the other side as the Earth spins around the Sun. Therefore, the phases cannot be constant. And an aeroplane flying in the same direction, flying easterly, now its angle to the surface will change, and now its path will be a straight line. And as it moves south, still flying in the same direction, will turn in the opposite direction while still flying in the same direction. And yet the pilot doesn't notice this. So the plane flying in the same direction will turn to its left. When it gets to the equator, will fly in a straight line, and past the equator, flying in the same direction, will now turn to its right. And somehow the pilots don't notice this. And we find it in real life. Whether you're flying north or south, your angle to the surface of the Earth is constant. It's the same. It does not change. Therefore the Earth has to be flat. Doesn't matter how high the pilot flies or how low he flies, his angle from his takeoff position, his X and Y axis to the surface, is constant right through his entire flight. This tells you, this is simple, this tells you that the Earth is flat.